Imagine waking up tomorrow to a headline that changes the world overnight. The United States is stepping back from Europe. No more permanent troop deployments. No more instant military backup. No more guaranteed protection under NATO as we know it. For nearly 80 years, Europe's security has rested on a simple assumption. If something goes wrong, America will be there. But what if one day it isn't? Would Europe be able to defend itself? How long could it hold out, and what would the first 30 days of a new security reality look like? This is not a prediction. This is a scenario realistic. Step by step, look at what might happen if the United States stopped being Europe's military backbone and Europe had to stand on its own. The security umbrella. Since the end of World War I, Europe has lived under what analysts often call the American security umbrella. After 1945, the United States stationed troops across Western Europe, air bases, naval fleets. Nuclear deterrence. When NATO was formed in 1949, the alliance was built around one central idea: an attack on one member is an attack on all. But in reality, the alliance has always depended heavily on one country, the United States. Today, America spends more on defense than all other NATO members combined. It provides most of the alliance's long-range transport intelligence systems, missile defense, and nuclear deterrence. In simple terms, Europe has strong armies, but America has the backbone that connects them. Now, imagine that backbone slowly stepping away. Not overnight chaos, not a sudden collapse, but a gradual shift where Washington decides Europe must take primary responsibility for its own defense. How ready would Europe be? The announcement. One begins with a speech. The US president announces a strategic pivot. American forces will remain allies, but permanent large-scale deployments in Europe will be reduced. US troops begin rotating out some air bases. Scale down naval patrols, shift focus to other regions. Financial markets react instantly. Defense stocks surge. European leaders hold emergency meetings. Publicly, officials stress unity. Privately, defense ministries start asking hard questions. How quickly can Europe coordinate its own command structure? Who takes leadership, and how much capability is missing without US support? Because while Europe has advanced militaries, the system has long been built around American logistics and intelligence. Remove that, and the structure has to adjust fast to Europe's military reality. Europe looks powerful. France has nuclear weapons and a global capable military. The United Kingdom maintains advanced naval and air forces. Germany has Europe's largest economy and growing defense spending. Poland is rapidly expanding its army. Italy, Spain, and others contribute modern forces. Combined, European NATO countries have millions of active personnel, but raw numbers don't tell the whole story. Modern warfare depends on coordination. Satellite intelligence, long-range airlift, missile defense, cyber capabilities. Many of those systems are heavily supported by the United States. For example, American aircraft often provide aerial refueling, the ability to keep jets in the air for long missions. US satellites provide crucial surveillance data, and American logistics networks help move troops and equipment quickly across continents. Without that support, Europe wouldn't be defenseless, but it would need time to adjust. The first 7 days. In the first week after an American drawdown announcement, Europe would focus on coordination. Emergency NATO meetings would likely happen in Brussels. European Union defense ministers would meet separately. Military planners would start mapping out new command structures. France and the UK would become central players. France, with its independent nuclear deterrent and strong expeditionary forces, would likely push for deeper European military integration. The UK, though outside the EU, would remain a key security partner with advanced intelligence and naval power. Germany would face pressure to accelerate military modernization. Poland and Eastern European countries would demand reassurance and rapid defense. Planning this first week wouldn't be about conflict, it would be about organization, but behind closed doors. One question would dominate: can Europe act quickly enough to replace the capabilities the US provided? The nuclear question. One of the biggest changes in a reduced American presence would involve nuclear deterrence. For decades, US nuclear weapons and guarantees have been part of NATO's security structure. Without a strong US role, Europe would rely more heavily on France, and the UK. France maintains a nuclear force designed for national defense, but capable of deterring major threats. The UK also operates nuclear submarines that provide continuous deterrence. At sea, some analysts believe Europe could build a stronger shared deterrent around these forces. Others argue that without American nuclear backing, the strategic balance would shift. This doesn't mean immediate danger, but it would reshape how Europe thinks about long-term security and independence. 30 days in after the first month, Europe would begin adapting. Defense budgets would likely rise, joint military projects would accelerate, new command structures could start forming. European countries have already discussed greater defense cooperation for years. A reduced US role would make those plans urgent rather than optional. Military exercises would increase logistics, networks would be strengthened, arms production across Europe would likely expand in some ways. Europe might become more unified. A shared challenge often drives cooperation, but there would also be debates. How much should each country spend? Who leads? How quickly can capabilities be built? These are political as much as military questions. Global reactions outside Europe, the world would be watching closely. Allies in other regions would reassess their own security arrangements. Adversaries would analyze Europe's response and readiness. Global markets would react to increased defense spending and shifting alliances, but a reduced American role in Europe wouldn't mean isolation. The US would still be a powerful ally with deep ties to European countries. Cooperation would continue, just in a different form. Think of it less as a breakup and more as a rebalancing. Could Europe defend itself? So the big question remains, could Europe defend itself without the United States? The answer is complex. In the short term, Europe would face gaps in logistics, intelligence, and coordination, but in the long term, it has the economic strength, technology, and manpower to build a more independent defense system. It wouldn't be easy, it wouldn't be immediate, and it would require political unity and sustained investment, but it is possible, and in some ways the process has already begun. European countries have been increasing defense spending. Joint military projects are expanding. Discussions about strategic autonomy are becoming more common. The idea of Europe taking greater responsibility for its own defense is no longer theoretical. It's part of an ongoing global conversation. What this means for the future: the world is changing. Alliances evolve, strategies shift, nations adapt. For nearly a century, the United States has played a central role in European security. That partnership remains strong, but the future may involve more shared responsibility, more coordination, more independence, and more questions about how global security is structured in the decades ahead. Imagine that headline again: the United States steps back. Not a collapse, not chaos, but a turning point. A moment where Europe has to decide how it defends itself, how it coordinates, and how it shapes its own security future. Because in geopolitics, the most important question isn't just who protects whom, it's who is ready when the rules change. And in a world where alliances shift and power balances evolveth, ability to adapt may be the greatest defense of all.